I had a few people tell me I wouldn't post this right now. It's a little too early. It's been 22 months since my separation, and I've been learning a lot about getting used to this new normal. So the intention of this video is simply to share with you guys 20 things that I've learned from many people that will help you rebuild your life. It's helped me feel more deeply connected with myself, with God, my family, that I feel that it's important to share this. First and foremost, I am not through this. I am not an expert. I'm not a coach. I'm not coming out with a book. I'm not coming out with a program. I am simply sharing things that I've personally done. And, I'm starting to see that if I get me back, then my kids might be okay. If I don't get me back, it's probably true my kids are gonna suffer. So with all that being said, I wanna go into some tactical things that's helped me. Number one, sleep. Prioritize sleep. No more crazy early wake up times. I let my body wake up when it's ready to wake up. If it needs to lie in bed for a little longer, I used to 4 o'clock and I'd be out of bed within 30 seconds tops and right at it. I just can't do that anymore. I don't have that same drive, that same ambition. Number two, mindfulness. We need to find things that help you stay present. Maybe that's reading a book. For me, I haven't been interested in reading business books. It feels silly, but to read material around maybe trauma or personal development or transition, right? I'm reading a lot of books around relationships, things that I should have read. I might have read, but I didn't really appreciate what I was reading at the time. You probably see me smoke cigars. I don't know if I'm a cigar guy, but when I smoke a cigar, it helps me be present because I have to slow down. You can't do it quickly and you have to be fully present. So I find something that helps you be present in the moment. Number three, trusting the Father. All you can do is trust, have faith, and focus on God's good hands. And for me, understanding that I didn't create time, God created time. So really trusting the Father in the sense that God is never late, God is always on time. Number four, hope and pray for the best, but mentally prepare for the worst. I had a lot of buddies who've gone through divorce who all told me right out of the start, this is what they told me, mentally prepare for the worst. And I'm like, oh, come on, guys. And I think mentally preparing that, the truth of the matter is a woman can walk. And I just didn't believe that. I knew the stats, but I didn't really appreciate that the person I'm with could walk. Number five, drop the chemicals. Alcohol, at least for the next year. Caffeine, TRT, sugar, all right, chocolate, candy. I believe the more sober you are going through this process, the more you're gonna wake up. If you want to accelerate awakening, you want to be sober. Number six, gratitude. Many days just surviving is a win. For a guy like me who's a high achiever, who built his identity around success and fame and achievement, this is very, very humbling. And I sit in silence a lot. And the old me just couldn't do this for 5 seconds. It'd be like, I'm wasting my time. I gotta go. There's so much to get done. And sometimes I just sit in gratitude for sometimes what feels like surviving another day. Number seven, stop worrying. Worrying is like a rocking chair that just gets you nowhere. Instead of worrying, journal. I've journaled my entire way through this process. And I talk about my feelings, and it's a way for me to stay connected to me and to remember that I'm a human being and not a human doing. Number eight, get lean. Stress did cause me to climb back up to 217 pounds. I've brought my weight down and I'm stabilized in around 202, 204. And if you stay leaner, you're gonna have more energy. The quickest hack to increase self-confidence, see your abs. If you can see your abs in the mirror, it's very hard to be depressed when you can see your abs, okay? So get your abs back. Number nine, run or walk. I found that running and walking was a very soothing activity. It was also very empowering. It was a chance for me to escape, and it's allowed me to listen to my voice, dream again, hear ideas again, and just really escape the noise. And when I say run or walk, don't bring your phone, don't listen to a podcast, don't listen to a book, just be one with your thoughts. If it feels boring, that's good. It'll completely slow the pace of life down. Number 10, hit the weights 3 to 4 times per week. Keep building your body. So you don't need to annihilate, but you need to stimulate the muscles. Get in the gym a couple times per week. The change of scenery also helps as well. Number 11, seek wisdom. Have humility and find men who've walked through divorce. One thing I'd say very good at is I've been very open, and I've enrolled all my friends, like everybody knows. And a lot of my friends have just given me so much support, so much encouragement. And I've watched other guys just, go through it by themselves. I don't know how, or I don't know why. Married men are fine, but they're not going to give you the same advice as guys who've already gone through divorce. They can show sympathy, but they just don't get the pain. 12, confide in men, wise men. Most dudes have junk advice. So discern the advice, because no one knows your situation best. This is another thing. You know your situation better than anybody. So this is where you really need to go inwards to make a lot of decisions. You can hear a lot of advice, but you've got to discern. Number 13, pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. When you're going through separation, loss, disappointment, it is going to be painful. It doesn't matter who you are, but suffering is a choice. Suffering is when you decide to believe that you're the only person going through this. So suffering is when you suffer in silence and you keep it all to yourself and you don't even come out of this changed. Do not do that. You are not the first person who's gone through this. Number 14, try not to rely on fast food. I would say this was my probably biggest vice: eating out, eating crappy meals, chips, blowing my diet, donuts, going to the movies, having big bags of popcorn. Do your best. I can't speak to this one as if I've done it, but cook your own meals. High protein, lots of meat, fast more often. You're going to increase mental alertness. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be leaner. You're going to have a better quality of sleep. You'll feel more empowered. Oftentimes, I cook by myself, have a cigar while I'm by the barbecue, and then I sit down at the dinner table and I eat by myself in silence. It's taken a long time to get used to that. But to be honest, I'm at a place where it's kind of enjoyable. Who would have thought? Number 15, you must rebuild. This is a non-negotiable. For me, the reason I must rebuild is for my kids, right? I need to rebuild. They need to see dad happy. They need to see dad purposeful. They need to see dad strong and lean and living in truth. They can still see that. I believe one parent can make a massive impact, and I'm going to choose to make a massive impact on my children's lives. Number 16, enroll your team. If you're a business owner, you got to get real with everyone. And I told them that I need you more than ever. I told my team, guys, I'm going through a catastrophic nightmare right now. Some days I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do coaching calls. I don't want to shoot a YouTube video. You have to tell your team, I need your help. Number 17, worship music. If you're not a man or woman of faith, find some music that calms your nervous system and that brings you a sense of peace. For me, worship music is when I hear God's voice. It's when I feel His Holy Spirit. I feel His presence. It's when I'm most moved. Number 18, the Bible. Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. It is the literal Word of God. And I don't miss my quiet times. And I try and meditate on 1 or 2 verses. The Bible has been my anchor through this entire time. And it's crazy when I read the Bible, it's like it's literally speaking directly to me. How does it know? How does it know that this is what's going on today? Number 19, cry. Crying is ice melting. Until 22 months ago, I probably cried 4 times in my entire life. I kid you not. You can ask my parents, ask my brothers, ask my friends. Never, ever, ever cried. I had no idea how much grief I was carrying in my life. Grief is when you don't acknowledge loss, and it just accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. And now I'm learning through my grief counselor that every time there's a loss in your life, you have to acknowledge it, honor it, forgive it. There's a process for every small amount of loss in your life. Some losses are good, some losses are not, but you must acknowledge loss. And I never did that. So when I told my guy, like, why do I cry so much? He's like, you're making up for 44 years of building up ice and not dealing with loss. Lastly, number 20, keep going to church. Church of the City is where I go in Franklin, Tennessee. Elevation while I'm in Toronto. Now I'm checking out this cool place called The River in Whitby, Ontario. But God meant for us to be in community. He did not mean for us to go through life on our own. A lot of people say, oh, I can hear God without going to church. Okay, cool. But you can't connect with other believers. You can't be encouraged. You can't be held. You can't be comforted. You can't be supported. You can't be loved on doing this on your own. So find a community. If church isn't your thing, find a community of people that will hold you and help you get through this. And that's it. I have a huge list of things I have not done well too. That list actually might be more helpful. We'll save that for a really future video. But for the separated or divorced men, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Again, I am not selling a coaching program. I am not a mentor in this area. I am just one man who's experienced this. And I know the amount of comfort I receive from just hearing other people open up about their personal situations. And this is essentially how I built my livelihood for the last 18 years, being open and real. So I figured, might as well not be any different with this situation here. And by the way, I did wait a long, long time. It was well over a year before I made any of this public. And now it's been almost 2 years before I've ever shared any form of insights that might be helpful. So if you feel that this video is premature, I totally understand. But this experience has completely severed my heart and cracked me so wide open. It's helped me feel more deeply connected with myself, with God, my family, my friends, my clients, that I feel that it's important to share this. And I hope this was helpful for someone. I've always loved just hearing how other people have walked through this. And I hope it's encouraging to take it one day at a time and know that God's got you in His hands and His hands are good.